All right, let's get this show on the road. So everybody's seen it by now. This really random, I feel like, Crowder versus H3 debate, conversation. I don't really know. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently it's only 21 minutes long. So I can't imagine what the hell they talk about. This all started, from my understanding, this is a Crowder clip. I don't really want to show the Crowder part too much. But this basically started, I think Joe Rogan, he might have even referenced Etha. I don't remember, or Etha? Hila. What the hell's the matter with me? Specifically about her mask wearing. I believe that she went to an event and she wore a mask and she's vaccinated. And I think that Joe Rogan was criticizing that. And she was wearing it to be safe. I completely understand. A lot of my family are vaccinated. They still, well, some of them are. And they wear masks, so like, it's to be extra precautious. It's not that big of a deal. Like, you can do whatever you want. And then Joe Rogan, I guess, commented on it, whatever. Then Ethan had said something I would say rather ignorant. Let's just watch it so we don't get it out of context.
They said you got to wear a mask, so I'm out there wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Wow, big deal. And then now they say, if you're outside, you don't need to wear a mask. It's pretty simple. You want to talk about who's dumb?
Yeah, I mean, the CDC is like this whole governmental body with scientists and shit. They just tell us what to do. You don't have to think about it, dude.
Right, so we'll get that out of there. Yeah, so that to me is a little bit, I would say that's rather ignorant, to be absolutely honest with you. I remember the start of the coronavirus. I followed it very closely. All over NPR, I remember the cycle, and very early on, we were told not to wear masks. In fact, the CDC told us that the coronavirus would go through the mask, like it was so small. And then they said, well, you only have to wear a mask if you're sick. And then that went to like, oh, you should start wearing a mask when you go out. And then eventually we had like the mandatory mask mandate. Now, all the while, the hospitals were hoarding masks. So basically what happened is that like we had an outbreak pandemic. And in order to make sure that hospitals haven't had enough masks, the CDC lied to people. That's the reality. I understand why they did it, because hospitals need masks first, and they didn't. And people were already hoarding toilet paper and other things. Like, oh my God, we'll never get a supply. I understand why they did it, but when you lie to the American people, it's going to seed mistrust, and that's why you don't just blindly listen to the government. You need to apply. Like, all he literally had to say is like, hey, like, I'm just trying to be safe. Like, what does it hurt by me wearing a mask? It doesn't. That's all that needed to be said. So Ethan said an ignorant thing. And instead of walking back and being like, okay, I understand, but like, we're just being safe, he decided to engage. And then we have Crowder versus, H3. Now, H3, I don't mind Ethan. I think he's all right. It was a bit of a jarring turn away from his edgier content to like the super politically correct content. And I think that's attributed to multiple things. One of those things is probably he's just getting older and more empathetic, which I completely understand. Part of it's probably because, especially now, he has a lot of Trisha's audience, which somehow is their like the Twitter social justice warriors. It's crazy that Trisha had that audience, considering how terrible she is. And so I think that part of it's not even that he's intentionally pandering to them, but like you get really roped up in social media where you get positive attention from one particular group and you start kind of leaning into that group unintentionally, and it happens all the time. So I won't give him too much shit for that, but I'm going to say that he's not exactly politically intelligent. One of the things I often find with progressives is that they don't really, because the ideas are so commonplace and they're so socially accepted, there isn't like a need to have a deep understanding of your ideology in order to have it, because no one's going to really contest it. So conservatives, while I align more with progressive ideology, more conservatives have like a critical understanding of their own ideology than progressives. A lot of times progressives are just like a lot of mouthpieces on here, especially celebrities, and I think that you should be careful of that. It doesn't mean that like progressives are terrible. It just means that a lot of the times progressives can't defend themselves. So I don't really know how this is going to go. Frankly, I'm not a particular fan of Crowder. I think he's an insensitive dick. I'm not somebody that would call for demonetization or deplatforming, but I simply just don't consume his content. Some of his Change My Minds were decent, though maybe a little performative, but they were decent. But like his much more recent content is just not even much more, like, with this whole podcast or whatever you call that. Not particularly thrilled with it. I saw the whole black slave things. I thought that was disgusting, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just not a fan. So, all right, let's get this going. Now, apparently for context, Ethan cut out with their intro conversation. They had like a conversation in the beginning.
Hasn't been adjusted, guys. Producer, like a fan of that. Okay.
I don't know if this is really necessary, but apparently Ethan just cut out like their first little introduction conversation. But let's just start it here. Oh, it's not even 20 minutes.
Hey, Ethan, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I just want to say on a serious note that I'm glad your wife is okay. I heard you had a little bit of a
this
issue with your wife.
Well, she's pregnant with twins, so it's like well, by the way, congratulations.
It's just so weird. Like, I don't know. The tone already is like so like, oh, let me suck you off a little bit. And like I understand like you shouldn't have this like wild crazy thing, but it's almost like the two of them acknowledge that they're both performing on their podcast, and then when they talk to each other, it's like a calm, civil thing so far.
Congratulations too. I know you guys are
Thank you.
in the same process. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
They switch
Can
and
you
they
turn
breach.
down a little bit?
Oh, sorry, am I too loud for you?
No, I just told Dan, our producer, to turn
This
the
is
volume down a
weird.
little bit. You're
I'm
good.
gonna take out my gum.
Yeah.
They switch and they breach, and so she
They're
actually-
rolling around.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm not. It seems bizarre that Crowder's so out of breath. It seems like he's almost super nervous. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, at first they said C-section, and then they said, we might be able to do a natural birth, but they often do C-section. And then they said, oh, yeah. And then they said, no,
I'm gonna
wait,
watch
now
it.
the
It's
other
just
one's breached.
weird.
The boy is just a dick. He just will not stop kicking the other one. It's like a...
It hasn't officially started, that's why. But like that's one of the things where it like encourages the performance. He's so nervous all the time, even his normal convo. That's weird.
Apartment, he keeps kicking the girl, and so then the
Like
girl
I
wakes
understand.
up.
I would understand.
Oh.
I would understand if he was a smaller commentator or something to be nervous against like a bigger one. But these two are fairly large. These guys are pretty big, no?
So
Both of
how
them.
far in is she?
She's due late July, early August.
I could see why Ethan cut
that's
this
coming
now.
right up.
Yeah, and I've got a big surgery July 1st, so I'm trying to get everything done in a hurry.
What is the surgery?
Is that your first?
I think that's Crowder's trans surgery. Crowder's a trans woman.
It is.
wow.
It is. Yeah, we talked about it on the show quite.
Oh, his heart is being impaled by his bones. That's terrible. Wow. Sorry. Holy shit. That's fucked up. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. Oh my God.
My wife had a basic operation for well, I won't talk about it. She probably won't. But basically, then she woke up with
Wow,
something
that's
called
horrible.
GBS. So we kind of, it wasn't really fertility issues. It was a physical issue. And GBS actually paralyzes you from the waist down.
This is awful.
So
That's
I'm so
what she was
sorry.
experiencing.
yeah, when she came out, just because they
Holy
put her under anesthesia. And so it's interesting.
Did he censor anesthesia?
Like, you know, I'm like a
Oh, that's why he's low on breath, because he has like the heart thing. That makes sense. So maybe he's not nervous. Maybe it's just his condition.
vaxxer, generally speaking, but she can't even get a flu shot. It's one of the few conditions because of the GBS. It's like a neurological condition where she has to be careful with any vaccine. So it's just been a weird navigation. But this is your second, right?
Yeah, this is gonna be our second. So we've been through it.
So they're having twins. So I guess
But,
that's
and
second
it's just
pregnancy.
one. It was supposed to be three, but the one child cannibalized everyone, and he has gained their energies to become the ultimate human being.
I feel like that's what happens with that's what happened with the Olsen twins. I'm convinced that one of them is evil. And
One of them ate the third one.
Yeah, something happened there. It seems like whenever you see them in pictures, there's one who's more disturbing. But
Maybe you're right.
But all right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and doing this, and doing this. A lot of people don't, so just talking, avoiding kind of the social media piss and con.
There's somebody in my chat, probably Zaddy, says ironic that Steven is such a right wing, but he's getting surgery for a bleeding heart. That's fucked up, but it's kind of funny. Holy shit!
Test trauma.
Oh my God.
So yeah, are you ready to go?
So I just want to make one clarification.
I'll just call this video Steven Crowder, the bleeding heart conservative.
So, in terms of, we're both going to record it, and then we can use it wherever we want, on your show, on my show, whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the
you
idea?
can.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can send you the file if we want because we have the master file, everything. So.
Yeah, I think we're good, right, Dan? We're recording it on our end.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we've never used Zoom either. We did you ever get sold on that Skype TX box? Remember when that came out?
Oh no, I've always had such a pain with Skype that Zoom has always been really good. So.
Well, the Skype TX box
They use Zoom.
was like from
Interesting.
NewTek, I think, and they sold us on that. They said this is what Jimmy Kimmel uses and all these people. And
Skype?
Well,
Really?
Skype TX. It's like a box. That's like it's almost like remember the
It's
Comrex
good?
boxes? No, it sucks. So what,
yeah, see.
what we've had to do is we just have Mac Minis set up, and Skype has played well with those, but not the exclusively designed Skype TX box that we paid whatever
Got
premium
it.
for.
Yeah,
so.
Skype.
I think it's the saddest part of this whole thing is I'm the fattest one of the three. This is terrible. I feel like shit, and I dress like shit. I'm wearing a fucking like cutoff. I'm having like a rough day, and I look like an asshole.
I don't trust Skype. Skype has always sucked.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll just.
Okay, so we're gonna record it, and then the topics are just like we said about authority with the vaccine, and there was something else you mentioned. I don't know how on.
Well, I just thought, however you want to do it. I thought that since that was kind of the subject that got us.
These guys are really trying to debate. Like they're not like, hey, okay, so like, what's the issue with this? Like, I hate debates. Most debates on the internet are so performative and annoying. Like political YouTube is literally not political YouTube. It's political YouTube drama. Like it's worse than actual regular drama on the internet because the stakes are higher and the people are dumber.
Us into a tiff that we.
This is kind of what we're getting into.
CDC, sort of, medical authorities, and you can tell me where you disagree with me, and then also kind of big tech because that ties in, with the CDC and World Health Organization.
Okay,
and,
sure.
Okay,
I'll just I'll introduce it to my, I have a little bit of a different audience to let them know kind of who you are, what's going on, and if you want to do the same, that's fine. But
weird how nervous he sounds.
All right,
or is.
Okay,
go.
So all right,
I'll give you a countdown, and then I'll 3, 2. All right. Okay. I'm really glad to have my next guest on the show. And I've always said this. I always respect people who enter into the arena. And, we've had a lot of debates on this show, which is different from like a Change My Mind where we sit down and have
Also, at the start of the video, Crowder tells the sound guy that he thinks Ethan will do anything to dodge a debate and even hints about him bringing in someone else. Oh, I didn't know that. I guess I should have watched that.
But my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach always said, if you come a switch, we go switch. You go spicy, we're going to do a little spicy. So we always try and keep it as respectful as possible. And I really do appreciate the guy making the time because a lot of people...
Was he Italian or was that like his racist Asian interpretation? Like what the fuck was that?
People has a huge YouTube channel, several YouTube channels, one of the OGs. A lot of people watch him. You know him. Some of you like him. Some of you don't. Same can be said for me. Ethan Klein.
Brazilian.
H3H3. Okay. Ethan, thanks, man, for making the time.
Right, that makes sense. Jiu-jitsu is Brazilian, right? Okay. I guess I'm the racist.
You're very welcome. And I just want to say, I know you called me. You said that I would be a layup.
I think I used something like that. Yeah,
and I think you're right because I don't think I'm a very good debater.
No, I don't think he's. I don't know that he's a good debater. I don't think that he really. I remember a scene where Trisha said she didn't like her tax money going to Planned Parenthood, and like it's not about whether you agree or disagree with her because I disagree with her. But Ethan didn't even ask her why. Didn't even challenge it. Didn't even give him his perspective. He doesn't really go into his political ideologies. He just kind of shames you into believing what he believes. I believe that we should. I'm fine with my money going to Planned Parenthood because the majority of the services that are provided are non-abortion related services, and it helps poor people get access to healthcare, like poor women access to healthcare and whatnot. So very easy. You don't have to have a whole in-depth idea, But Ethan doesn't really. He just seems to try to steamroll people. So I would think he was a layup too.
Know that. So I didn't want to make it too easy for you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so I brought somebody else on.
I prepared.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what we were going to talk about is the initial quote that happened. I think he's looking off there. The initial quote that kind of was turned into a little bit of a meme, which wasn't intentional, and was you saying you don't even have to think about it regarding the CDC. And I disagree with that. I think people should think about it. I believe. And we talked about this through playful ribbing in an
So I'm not entirely sure who Sam Seder is, but this is kind of a scummy tactic, no? To just randomly throw somebody else into the mix?
Aggregation of medical authorities and scientific voices to make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Stephen, do you know that the Spartans are practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder. Whoa.
What is the comment about Spartans practicing man love with kids? I believe that is true. A lot of times progressives will point to ancient Greece or Rome or whatever when it comes to how gender never really mattered and homosexuality used to not be a thing. But back in the day, it used to be more about masculinity versus femininity, and so masculine men would assault feminine men But I'm not really sure what they're talking about.
What a fucking nightmare!
Thank you, Steven.
I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah,
well,
I told Dave.
All right, so Sam Seder is someone Crowder ditched on debating multiple times. Okay.
Dave, remember I told?
Oh, it's a reference to the Spartan horse. I didn't know if Steven Crowder just said something fucking stupid at one point. You can't blame me.
Yeah, I told you. I said this is. I guarantee you, he's going to do anything he can to avoid the debate.
Oh, I just think he believes that he should debate you.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with mental health issues. Ethan
Steven,
Klein doesn't
you know
stand up and do his own fighting.
I gotta say,
Oh my God, that was a swing! Holy shit! Wow, that was funny. He just takes advantage of women with mental health issues. I guess that would be Trisha Paytas. Oh my God. Okay.
hey,
It's just hilarious. Let's
my
bring on
producers
FM.
That you would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point.
Does
Yes,
that
that's
include Joe Rogan?
Yeah, Joe Rogan and Ben
Rubin
and Dave
Ben
Rubin and
Shapiro.
Jordan Peterson and Noam Chomsky and Sam Harris. Everyone's been avoiding.
And not just attempting
Sam
to get
Seder.
your audience by jumping in.
Well, I debated with Charlie Kirk. Steven, I mean, it's about issues.
It's about
Let's
issues,
talk about those issues.
That's what you're
I
doing
think you have
here.
some valid points.
You're so clever, right?
So I think that what Ethan did was like a scum fuck tactic. But like I don't know why people dodged this Seder guy. But like I guess at least talk to him a little bit.
I had no idea that you were
I mean, people are saying that if Seder isn't logical, then Crowder should be okay to go after him. No,
taking your show off early last time, coming in today with your pig pen peanuts
I
eyes.
wish every.
You take those off, are they
They
velveteen
really are.
buttons?
They're just
You must have
black
been
eyes.
very worried
aren't they?
about
Like
this, Steven. I don't know
no
why.
one's
you would
worried
be
No,
about
come on,
it. It's
Sam.
why I didn't want to
concerned.
do it.
Well, let's have
Sam,
the
come
debate.
on.
If
Just
no
I'll tell you
one's
what. I have a
worried, let's
general.
do this.
I have a general rule.
This is a great
I don't start a
opportunity
debate based
to-
with people on a lie. And how
Or
about you get to a,
sabotaging?
how about you get to a
Steven,
30th
show
of the
yourself,
audience
you
share?
coward. Steven, show
A
yourself.
30th of
So he's saying that he's not big enough to have a conversation. And what's the lie? I would just like to know. Like, why did he dodge the debate?
Don't show your
audience.
co-host.
Ethan, you should show
Steven,
yourself.
and-
Ethan, how can you respect yourself as a
you
man,
believe
brother?
in something so
Steven,
strongly
Steven,
that you're
you are
not
such
willing
a
to
coward.
debate.
Stop showing your little
I
leprechaun
thought you did
co-host.
something.
Right. Hey, Ethan, come on, Ethan. Why do you have to bring on a guy who has a 30th of the viewership of yourself?
Saddest thing I've ever heard. So you have a guy
Just
with
show
less
Steven.
viewers to come on to debate him because you can't.
I mean, that's such a stupid. Hey, who cares if he has less viewers? I don't really know the Sam Seder guy, so I don't know why he won't debate him. But if his entire platform is predicated on a lie, then you should be able to pretty easily have this conversation. No.
Why don't
Obviously,
you get
if I'm a-
Apparently, he had to think about it, bro.
If I'm a
Yeah, I had to
layup and
think
not a
about it.
debater,
Well, look, you're the one who called. You're the one who got personal and
You're
started
the one
it.
that got angry about it.
Look,
It's a debate.
hold on a second. All right, hold on a second. Let me hear what
let's
Pigpen has to say here really quickly.
Fair enough.
But
Show
Ethan,
Steven.
look, I don't. Hold on a second, Ethan. This is because initially I came on here to talk with Ethan. Ethan, come on, man. Look, the same reason
He
that
tries to barge into other platforms to grow his channel by debating bigger channels. If his whole thing is trying to entrap people into debating him, that's, I guess, scummy, but still.
I
like,
haven't
we
ever
are
had a
where we
conversation
are,
with Sam Seder. The same reason that Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Brett Weinstein, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro don't owe him anything. It's based on a lie, Ethan. Just like you
What's the
claiming
lie?
you
What's the
claiming
lie?
my
Well, yeah, what's
booker
the
reached
lie?
out to you,
Steven.
Ethan, when you know that's
Steven,
not
what's
true.
the lie?
There's no one ducking
the
you,
lie?
Sam.
Why
I've
are you
never.
so afraid?
Sam.
Listen,
Well, then what's the conversation
you're
about?
I can
smart
call out
guy.
Mike
I
Tyson.
don't understand
It doesn't mean that I'm
why
ducking him.
You are so worried about
Why do you
this.
feel that?
I
Why do you
honestly
feel that
don't.
anyone, Sam? Why do you feel that anyone owes you airtime when you have a 40th of the audience and you've been doing the show
I don't
for
think
10 times
anybody
as
owes me
long?
airtime. I think that Ethan has just given it to me.
Right.
I didn't ask him for it.
Right. No,
And
you've been
so
begging for it
the
for a
real
long time with
question is
everyone
begging
bigger
for
than
it.
yourself.
Why are
Yeah,
you
he
so
found a
He
way
can't
in.
build an
engaging
audience,
with me?
and so what happens is he
Why are
uploads
you so
15
worried
times
about-
more,
Do you
has
think
less than
your
a 50th of the
audience
audience.
Well, that's why he wants
Do
to
you think
debate
that
you,
your
is so he can
audience-
build his audience.
Sam, come on.
You
Where's,
think your
All right, so Papa, there's a meme that Crowder wouldn't never debate him and go, okay, well, let's just see what the
audience
hopefully they actually have
cares
some conversation.
That I only have 1 million subscribers and you have what, 6 or 7
I
million
think. Let me answer.
subscribers.
Can I answer your
I don't
question?
think
Can I
they
answer your
do.
question? Can I answer your question? Do you want me to answer
Sure.
your question? My audience would say Sam who, just like Joe
Well, who
Rogan's
cares?
audience and Ben Shapiro's
now
and
they
Dave.
all-
But who cares? This is so weird. This is dumb. But Joe Rogan pulls people on that go, who is this person all the time? Like, what are you talking about? If Steven Crowder's entire platform is my audience doesn't know who you are, so I don't need to give you time of day, that's a kind of a scum fuck response. That's a pussy response, dude. Like what? Like
Ruben, now they all know who you are because you had to shoehorn yourself into another coward show.
Into another
College
show.
students, every day that you do
Why
that,
are we-
Hold on a second.
they don't know who
This
those
is another
college
lie. This is
students are.
another lie.
It is.
Let me
What difference would
clarify,
it be?
Sam. Let me clarify, Sam. The Change My Mind, everyone knows on the show, right?
Yes.
We've had professors
How did
on
you
the.
know I
this is
ended
what's,
my
he's not
show
gonna talk.
early last week, Stephen? If you're
Because you're an idiot, and half of your staff doesn't like you.
watch my
Because I'm a
show?
diehard fan.
Yes, it's because he's
watch
a
it all the
diehard
time.
fan.
Well,
There,
if
I've had
you're a
heard of you,
diehard fan,
but I just met you.
why
Congratulations,
not have
Sam
me
Seder's fan.
and
I'm just
Stephen
a
have a
huge fan.
conversation.
I like.
Well,
I
right
will
now,
talk
every time I
about
try
the
and talk,
issues
you're
that you wanna
interrupting,
talk
Sam.
about,
Yeah, and
Stephen.
Right now, I'm trying to talk with you. You're interrupting,
you
Sam.
bombarded the show to
You
debate.
go
bombarded.
ahead.
You bombarded my show under a false pretense,
dude, this
you
is
claim that
so-
everyone, just like you claim that I ducked a debate with you under a false pretense. Have I ever?
That is what the Politicon people told
Oh,
me.
is that
I
what they
played
told
the
you?
audio
So you're just
of it.
lazy with your research?
And if big tech
No,
is
you can-
why don't we just talk about the real thing?
Then you
Like,
was
I'm
the
assuming
lie.
I'm assuming
You
they
need
don't
to research
actually
and say,
ever talk about
Stephen
anything.
ever accept?
They said
Let me
you were
explain
booked.
to you. Let me explain to you.
They
Let me
said
explain to
you
you.
were
Hey,
booked,
whoa,
and
whoa,
then
whoa,
you
Sam.
dropped out and
So,
Sam,
so here's my thing. If Crowder had no, because there are people who I wouldn't give the time of day because I think they're shitty people as well, right? That's totally fine. That's totally fine. But like the fact that he's still going on with it leads me to believe that like it's all just an act and he's afraid to actually debate him and that he's more interested in like saving face with his audience now. It's kind of pathetic.
Sam, sweetheart.
repeat.
Sam, fake stand-up comic who we can't find any footage about online. Let me finish.
I'm not a stand-up comic.
Oh, you're not? Okay, that makes sense because everything that I've seen is incredibly unfunny and unentertaining, which may explain the
I'm not
audience
a
numbers.
stand-up
Ironic,
comic.
irony alert.
Comedian.
How much have you watched of my
The
stuff,
irony
Stephen,
of-
that
Sam,
you think that
can I
your
answer your
audience
question?
wouldn't appreciate
Sam,
our discussing things?
Samuel, can I answer your question?
Yes.
So you have gone on and you've done the same thing with other comics. Everyone who has a bigger audience than you. Because you said, I want to speak with Steven Crowder. You believe that at some point there was some acceptance? When have I ever done a Politicon? Ever? When have I as a matter of fact, in the last decade, I haven't done a single political conference.
How
I
can
hosted
you
CPAC
say-
for 4 years and stopped because they suck.
How can
They
you
don't
say-
pay and they're full
Okay.
of losers.
What
And you've been
about Gavin
clamoring
McInnes'
for it,
show?
and it's a
Gavin
lie.
told me that you dropped out
How
of
can
doing
you
his show
say that
because
This is just
I was
hearsay
going
and
to go.
gossip.
But how can he say
I've never met more of a
your
woman.
career when he wants to keep
Well, I don't
debating?
need to-
I don't
I don't
know.
need to
It's
talk about
bizarre.
any of it.
All right, okay.
Let's talk about the
So,
issue,
Ethan,
the
do you want to have a
CDC.
conversation, Ethan?
about
Let's
the
talk about
vaccine
big
because
tech.
you
Ethan,
were
do you
so
want to have a
strong.
conversation?
I
You're going to
do.
hide.
You felt so
Absolutely,
strongly
I
about
do.
it.
Or big
So
tech.
why are you hiding behind Sam Seder?
Oh no!
Have
no,
a conversation
No, me and Sam are aligned. I'm
with
not
him.
hiding.
Well, you're just a liar,
so you're a
Ethan.
liar.
Because remember we.
This is like really pathetic. Like this whole ordeal is pathetic. You know what? I'm going to be honest right now. Listen, Ethan very clearly realizes that he doesn't understand politics, so he decided to pull somebody on who does. Now, it was kind of like a scummy move, but Crowder is just exposing himself as a coward. So how am I supposed to sit here and shit on Ethan at all, really? I mean, like, yeah, it's a little bit shitty, but like, you're not even engaging. You're like, why won't you? Stop talking because this is what Crowder's doing the whole time. He's speaking over Sam and being like, oh, you're gonna let me finish. You're gonna let me finish. And then he just starts to talk more about how Sam Seder's platform is shit, but he doesn't actually engage. If Sam Seder wants to talk to you and like his whole basis for whatever is like on a lie, then this should be a pretty easy like 1-2 punch. Like, hey, listen, this is the lie. But it seems like he's more interested in just being like, I don't do political conversations. Well, what the fuck?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Debate.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sort of feels
It's
like you guys
ridiculous.
are the ones who are hiding.
Really? Hiding? No.
Being
This is
completely
actually.
open
Who
about it.
snuck in on you?
Who's the guy who never
just being
appears on
completely
stage,
open
never
about
does
it.
a live show,
But is a
never
comic.
even never even allows a shadow of comedy to be perceived on his program? It's just hiding.
Right.
Everything we do is out in the open. H3, you know
Steven, you're wearing
that we
a holster.
agreed.
So what?
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Dude, this is so dumb.
So I want to normalize responsible gun ownership. Is that your debate? No.
Very
no wonder
people are telling me that Crowder dodged like maybe 2 debates with this Sam Seder guy.
you had to bring in a hack for
You
you.
want to call it a?
Crying out loud. That was his debate strategy.
Should we write it for you?
You have a holster, bro.
Also,
You have a
you're
holster.
not
As he takes advantage of mentally ill women for a show that just is dwindling. All right, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Like, it's kind of pathetic. Crowder's whole narrative is like, oh, your show sucks, so I don't need to talk to you. And the whole Trisha Paytas thing is like a more complicated, obviously. Like, whatever, funny joke, taking advantage of a mentally disabled woman or whatever. But his whole thing is like, oh, you don't even have like a big audience. This guy apparently has 1 million fucking subscribers. Like, that's That's not just some kid screeching. Like, clearly there's a reason he's at $1 million, even if he's wrong. But if he's wrong, it should be so easy for you to contest him. But I have a feeling that the reason Crowder's so large is because he appeals to a larger fan base, because he doesn't really go in depth or have any like deep level of intelligence. It's more like a performative conservative comedy sketch rather than something like intelligible. Say what you want about Ben Shapiro. I don't agree with the guy in a lot of ways, but he'll have conversations with like reputable people and educated people as long as they're reasonable conversations. I've seen him have them about $15 minimum wage. They're not bad. Crowder won't even put himself on the line. Even when Shapiro's wrong, he put himself on the line with Joe Rogan over systemic racism, and Shapiro was wrong. I mean, that's how I perceived it very well. I mean, it was, but like, he didn't run from the conversation, and he's still friends with the guy. Like, this is kind of pathetic. Like, I feel like, what's the respectable point about Steven Crowder at this point? I mean, he quite literally is just a bleeding heart conservative. I mean, come on.
All right, Sam, you got it. You got it. I hope you have a wonderful highlight reel. Hope you enjoy Politicon.
Hold on. Let me just say this.
Hope you enjoy Politicon, Ethan. We'll release the private
Yeah,
messages.
you take it easy.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
What's in the private messages? Ethan's dick? Like, what does that matter? What kind of a threat is that?
Adorable.
See, there's no way that's a threat. We'll release the private messages. I'm assuming that's just messages saying let's debate. So like that's a scummy tactic to be like, hey, guys, like there's something more in the private messages that you don't know about. There's not. There's quite literally nothing.
Hey, Sam, one thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses? One thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses?
We just want to see.
I just want to see if you take them off. If you have the Velveteen Rabbit buttons. That's the only thing I'm curious about. It's the only interesting part about you.
Or if there's a soul.
Just take off the glasses.
Let's debate.
Don't hide behind the glasses, Sam.
Don't say let's debate, Ethan. You've lost that opportunity.
Ethan's lost the debate. All right, this is sad. This is why we don't
Ethan,
debate.
shut up.
All right, good. You guys are good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Won't even take off the glasses. All right, yeah, you can give it the X. This is just
That was it.
I knew it. The guy just thought.
Is that all right?
The guy thought that, no, we're still going. The guy thought that we had no. I mean, we have the master. Quarterback, can you put on your microphone?
Yeah. Is he still on?
We have the No, I cut him off. We have the master file. We knew.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happens. Like someone like a Sam Seder who just
He didn't even wait.
He never lets you
immediately-
speak.
I like how he goes, your little leprechaun co-host, because he's still mad that I said he looked like a transgender Wayne and Clark. You know that's just been eating at him for the last month.
Well, and this is the thing too, is
Okay,
we don't do debates based on a lie. Like I can call out Mike Tyson.
What's the lie? That's the problem that I have. I hate it when people do stuff like this. Like they'll use these words like, the debate was. We don't do debates based on a lie. What's the lie though? What is the lie that he's saying?
Call it Evander. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
And so when someone says, "Hey, you said you would do this," and you just admitted that
That's the lie, that you said you would do this. So Crowder doesn't want to do it because somebody said he would do it, even though people have said that apparently he actually did have a debate confirmed and he just walked it down. Like, this is stupid. I thought the lie would have been about something that Crowder said, not just nothing.
Of course, there's no proof of that. Well, I heard this from so and so. Yeah, but there's no evidence. We'll bring up. We can bring up here the direct messages with. I hate to do this, but with Ethan, it was, hey.
Debate we could be fun, maybe about COVID, blah blah blah. All right.
We'll talk, you and I, man to man. No one else will come in. Matter of fact, I was going to say, if I have my phone,
No Triggs, no Zags, just you and me. Okay, so yeah, that's a scum move from
I can
Ethan.
take a picture right here. So there's no prompter. It's just him on a call, and he's terrified. I don't know how someone like
we're dealing with Steven. We play gotcha with these things. Okay, like we've established that. Like Ethan was kind of shitty, but then Crowder is a coward. So honestly, I'd rather go with the shitty guy than the coward, right? Like, come on, honestly. Like, I get it. Like, Ethan said he would do a one-on-one. Ethan's not particularly politically intelligent, so he pulled somebody else on that Crowder's apparently been dodging. And instead of Crowder, the only thing Crowder kept saying was like, oh, this was based on a lie. And what else did he say? Oh, your platform's too small for me to talk to, even though Sam Seder has like 1 million followers. And it's like, what? Like that is quite literally an admission that you're just 100% about like clout and views and not about like honest truth. So that's a scum move. Like, that's a loser coward
can
move.
live their life as a man.
Well, he just also talked very cordially to you about family.
Oh, yeah.
But what I really hate about that is then he immediately pulled it, which shows no character, no class, a complete manipulation.
Well,
but here's the
he has a show that's dwindling. No one cares about it.
But
so then he wants the drama, and I actually want to have a conversation. But I'm not going to have a conversation. Here's my cutoff. A general serious rule.
Yeah.
1/20th of the audience. Otherwise, I have no time in the day, and I'm debating every Twitter egg.
Well,
this guy's 1/20th of the audience? Like, this is just, I mean, I understand, like, wait. This dude has 1 million subscribers. Crowder has 1 million subscribers. Am I missing something?
Do not attempt the training technique.
Am I missing? Oh, this is his bits channel. Okay. Crowder has 5.5 million. So a 20th of 5.5. What is that? Like a couple 100,000? I think that he's big enough to talk to Sam Seder. So this isn't even like a logical response. I don't talk to people that are below 20th of my size. What? This guy's got 1 million. He's got like a 1/6 of your size. Maybe a 5th, really. A 5th, really, because he's at 1.1 basically, and Crowder's at 5.5. Quite literally, like 1/5. He's got like a pretty solid audience. I don't understand. His views are trash. Okay, so are mine. I mean, that's just the way life works, my man. I don't fucking know what to tell you. It should have been easy to contest what he had to say and then like let it move on. I don't know. It seems silly.
Right, but here's my point of how you win something very, very easily. Your whole point is you're talking about a that you have questions about.
Right.
He claims that something you don't even have to think about. That's a bold statement to make. So when you go to challenge him on that, his side has to explain why he feels that way. So he sneaks in another guy because he doesn't feel
You have
that
a holster, bro.
He's bought and paid for.
You have a holster, bro.
That was his argument.
Let me show you how to use it.
You don't have to think about it.
There are similar energies between Ethan and Crowder here. They got a bunch of like, it's a bull boys club who just jerks the other one off, even if they're not right. Good.
And he's and this
what
is
an
here's the thing. I was really curious too, and then we'll go back to the show, I guess. I was really curious from someone like H3H3, who, well, you know, Quarter Black, you used to watch him. Made his bones. I mean, he has $15 million worth of real estate in Los Angeles. He made it all with anti-social justice warrior content, you know, triggering feminists, snowflakes. And not only that, but he was more aggressive than me. If you go back and watch, he talked about how he was demonetized.
Yeah, he was pretty aggressive.
He used the word like
A
50
lot.
times. And
Like
with
a lot.
context just said, I just love saying the word which, you know, it's not really
Hey, who doesn't? Just kidding. Jesus Christ.
couched in a joke.
Jesus. Well, you know, not for nothing, but we've changed drastically socially the past 5 to 10 years. Like, I'm not even kidding you when I say like those slurs were more acceptable 5 to 10 years ago. It's kind of the reality. It's the unfortunate reality, and we've moved very fast. And now it's one of those things where it's like, hey, people say really bad things 5 or 10 years ago, and then they get older and they're like, oh, I need to educate myself. And they do, and they stop saying those things, and they advocate against saying those things. And it's like, it's kind of hard to shit on somebody for just trying to grow as a content creator and as an individual by not being a racist or homophobic.
Joke.
No.
Just him.
But like, that's what I hate about like super, like, there's a line to be drawn about how edgy content should or shouldn't be. And like, you know, that's always a social conversation that we have, but I really don't like it when there are people who are very edgy, who clearly go past the line, which is, you know, you do you, but that try to rope people that are more on the line in to be like, well, remember when you were edgier? It's like, yeah, I was always on the line though. And I have the ability to follow the social line. You're always just like super regressive in like your bigotry kind of, you know, situation. Or I don't even know what I call it bigotry, but like your antagonism, it's over the line. You do you, but stop trying to rope people in to your side because they've changed and as their content's changed.
Saying it.
Can you get millions of dollars for that?
But what he
still?
said, and, he was,
Apparently, yeah.
and I remember him back in the day, and I didn't really like his content, but I remember I supported him where he said, hey, YouTube should actually find a way to monetize my content that's edgier and older, because networks would be lining out the door for older male content. So he was actually more aggressive in fighting the corporate censorship than me. And then one meeting with Susan Wojcicki, and he brags on his show about how he has the YouTube VP on text, on speed dial, and all of a sudden he's saying, all lives matter
Yeah.
is something that people shouldn't be allowed to say. That our attack on him is bordering on medical misinformation. That people should be deplatformed. I don't understand. People change their mind.
That's fair. Yeah, the like Ethan's constantly calling for different people to be deplatformed. Like Keemstar, I hate Keemstar. I think he's a scum fuck. But like, you know, you're gonna call to deplatform somebody and call it like it just seems like it does seem like a shitty move. When Keemstar, you have a large platform to just contest what Keemstar says intelligently. I mean, don't deplatform the person, deplatform their ideas like intelligently. But people don't really do that. No large creator actually deplatforms Keemstar's ideas. They kind of just go, "Oh, he's a bad guy. I don't have a reason why though, because I'm too fucking stupid to come up with it." That's what it seems to be.
I'm really curious though when you see someone who makes their entire living, who builds up their brand and their empire.
What's wrong with Keemstar? Brother. Keemstar's a fucking moron. Keemstar canceled Call Me Carson for no reason and like literally asked why people couldn't get raped in the mouths. He's like, "Why can't you just close your mouth?" Like he's actually dumb. He's a 30-something year old man, almost 40, maybe early 40s. He's really dumb. Like he's also there's no way that he's that intellectually stunted as a literal grown adult.
On anti-wokeness, on anti-corporate censorship, who then does a 180 and supports it at every turn. And I thought we would have had a good opportunity to discuss that, specifically Ethan and myself, not Sam Seder, because Ethan was the one who said we should go with the CDC and World Health Organization.
Yeah. He was the one who had the arguments.
Those are the big tech guidelines.
Ethan didn't debate you for 8 seconds.
No, he was immediately
to this.
Quick.
To Sam Seder.
Whatever. All right.
Well, I gotta be honest. I never heard of till now. Not that it matters if you've heard of anybody, but the only thing I've ever heard.
I heard of him because of the fact that he started, trolls with a lie that I didn't.
I thought he was Seth Simmons, that guy who who makes bird calls and said Norm Macdonald wasn't. I swear to God, that's what I thought it was.
The Goodyear guy.
Yeah, the guy who he got my friend Shane kicked off of SNL.
Oh,
yeah, that
guy.
guy. Yeah. That's who I thought it was. I mean, granted, it's kind of him, but it's a different person. Right?
Someone like H3 would never be capable of doing. Not only just that, remember, we provide references for you. So, on with the show.
Capable of what? Wait.
I think there are going to be quite a few more sound bites of Ethan on the soundboard. So,
yeah, maybe so.
Let's continue on with the kind of show that someone like H3 would never be capable of doing.
Well, okay. All right, that was that.
Wow. Wow. Dude, I can't believe he admit to following.
He admitted that he followed the show last week.
We got him.
He admitted that he watched the show last week.
We got him.
Early.
Dude, we played him so hard because he literally was following. He saw that you went live, dude. We fucking got him.
Oh my God, we fucking nailed him.
Holy shit.
It's a little cringy, but okay.
So do you want to respond to, here, you want to throw him up, Dan?
There's a lot.
Do you want to respond to anything he said now that he's not talking over you?
Well, I mean, look, he's obviously lying about the idea that he wouldn't want to do a debate with me because his audience wouldn't know.
Watch the beginning. Okay, we're at, what are we at? 50, about 19 minutes.
Welcome, everybody.
Please stand up.
Who am I to disobey our
What am I
our
watching the
great,
beginning for?
Glorious leader. Crowder challenged me to a debate. He called me a layup. He said I was stupid.
Well, it's true, but like, what am I? What's the?
Well, Stephen, I think the debate speaks for itself. Steven Crowder, for those of you that don't know, is probably one of the most hateful, bigoted people on the platform. Racist, homophobic. I mean, pretty much hits every box. We made this big, beautiful compilation of some of his greatest hits, but it's actually so heinous and offensive.
Well, I don't care about
my
that.
show last week because he was afraid that this would happen. Here's a guy who
he wants to debate the issues. What's the difference between me and anybody in the world?
I mean, only that he is convinced that.
I said, did you send me this email? She
All
said,
right, so this is pretty boring. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's just gonna be them jerking each other off. I don't really think that there's anything.
Our show was live.
So true.
And you called. I gotta say, you called it last week. Tens. That's
Okay, well, we get it. All right, so that was interesting. Yeah, so what the fuck's happening? Yeah, so that was something rather disappointing. So here's what we got out of that. I mean, that was kind of like a lame move from Ethan because I mean, he just didn't put like he was like, oh, hey, I said this is the problem I have. Ethan said something stupid and he wasn't willing to put himself on the line to have a conversation about it, which I think is pathetic. Crowder's really horrible excuses for not talking to Sam Seder were also pathetic and cowardly. Like, you know, he kept saying, oh, everything was based on a lie. I don't talk to people that are a 20th of my following. I mean, he's got 1 million. Crowder has 5 million. I mean, it's effectively, you know, it's just a weird lie. The excuse was dog shit. The whole thing was pathetic. It was lame. That was lame. That's all I have to say. That was really lame. It was lame. You're both lame. Hey everyone, if you liked that video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow my Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and TikTok. All links are in the description. Also, check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me even more than you already do. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you all.